AskReddit by Planet Mars. Serious, teachers, what is the worst thing you've seen a student do? Attention, serious, tag notice. Jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted. https://www.reddit.com/r/wiki/index-wiki_rule_6- closed comment parent or child. Parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please, contact the moderators of this subreddit. Message compose $r AskReddit if you have any questions or concerns. Stab another student in the back of the head with a pencil. Went in right at the base of the skull. Luckily it didn't hit anything important and just needed 3 stitches. But it was deep enough that it stayed in before the doctors took it out. Dude, that kid literally tried to murder the other one. WTF. There was a loud pop and a flash in the back corner of the classroom. I asked the student sitting there what happened. She said it was firecrackers. I sent her to the office. While she was still in the office, I realized the electrical outlets in the room didn't work. At that point, another student fessed up that the student sent to the office had put a pair of scissors in the outlet. I'm not sure why that student thought it was better to lie and claim she was doing fireworks inside the school. Honestly, I would rather be in trouble for setting off fireworks than be the kid who is dumb enough to stick scissors in the outlet. When I was teaching preschool, I had a little girl, between 3 and 4, walk up to another girl who was sitting on the rug reading a book, grab her by the hair and slam her head into the wall. They hadn't been interacting in any way prior. When I asked her why she did it, she said she wanted her to know it hurts. Wow. This unlocked a memory. In 3rd grade, for gym, we sat on a line in alphabetical order. I was at the very end. The girl next to me was from another class, so I didn't know her. She was a bit weird, but over the course of a few weeks, we were friendly with one another and would chat. One day, with no provocation and no warning, she grabbed me by my hair and slammed my face into the hardwood hard enough to give me a nosebleed. Lucky she didn't break my nose. I was talking to a kid about Pokemon one day during their lunchtime. I'm the band director and a lot of band kids come to the band room for lunch. We were having a good time. He's a great tuba player and I tell him I can't wait to see him tomorrow. He took a rope and hung himself in the last period of the day by kicking a desk out from under him. Luckily the teacher he was with was able to somehow get to him, but I ran down in time hearing the screaming and was in time to see him hanging there as others tried to support him enough to keep him from dying. Kid was gotten down, but that was awful. It's so hard to tell sometimes even when you're right there with them right before they try it. I still remember when our favorite janitor at my elementary school hung himself in the closest at school. Our school principal found him and left not long afterward. They just told us kids that he had an accident. I didn't learn the truth until much later on. He was super well liked among the kids at school. He was a cool guy and everyone loved him, as far as I know, anyway. Those kinds of incidents definitely stick with you. I hope you're doing better these days. Same for the kid. Early years educator specializing in children with SEN, special educational needs. Eating feces. No competition. Seeing a child chewing their own shit is something that stays with you. Having to try and hook it all out of their mouth with your finger whilst they bite you is something you forcibly forget. Children with complex sensory issues, particularly those with hypersensitivity to smell and taste, will often seek out particularly strong smells and tastes, and things that we find disgusting are not to them and instead are stimulating. combined with the delays to their development, which means they are still likely to be at the stage of exploration where everything is tested in the mouth. This can obviously lead to situations that are very unpleasant. Edited to add clarity and further explanation. Geez, talk about setting the bar high for this post. It gets very hot here in the warmer months, and so the school put out those big containers for water for everyone. Well, one student was caught peeing into a bag and dumping it into the containers. Adding, student was 11 or 12. When I was in a psych ward, we caught one of the other patients spitting in the community coffee creamer. Sucks so bad. Deleted. When my so was pregnant, she asked the school to go on medical leave because one of her students was extremely violent and she was afraid for the baby. The school refused. A few weeks later, the student threw a chair at her. She again asked to be put on medical leave and they again refused. It wasn't until the student tried to punch her in the stomach in front of other teachers, fortunately she managed to dodge it somehow, that the school finally allowed her to go on leave. I walked in on a sexual assault between two students. Still bothers me like 8 years later. Hopefully you were able to stop it? Yes? Sadly, eating out of a bin because they were so hungry. I worked in a very deprived area and this has always stuck with me as one of the worst things I've witnessed at school. In primary school, may have been 7 at the time, I wasn't eating my lunch. Mum said something to my teacher. Teacher busted me throwing my sandwich in the bin, took it out, and made me eat it. My wife is a elementary teacher and has a kid this year that likes to slip under their desk and lick toes. We live in a warm state, and they all think he will grow up to be a creeper. Grow up to be? Once caught a child looking up furry porn on a class iPad. That was something. Child, like 7, or child like 15? This was the worst thing I know of that happened at my high school. Someone brought a blasting cap to school. Okay, that's a bit dumb, and flushed it down the toilet. That's really dumb. Then told a teacher about it, because maybe it wasn't such a good idea, their best idea that day, really. Wound up with that restroom being taken out of service while the fire department x-rayed the plumbing to find and remove the, admittedly tiny, explosive. Took several weeks before it was back in service. Blasting caps are no joke. I worked with them once upon a time. If you put an ammo can above one and then activate it, it'll send it flying very high into the sky. My favorite teacher as high school was a very kind, lenient man. Do your work, be respectful, and follow the major school rules, and you and him would be cool. The one thing that would seem minor, but that he was very strict about, was taking any medication in any way, shape or form in his classroom. One day, I needed to take some Advil for cramps and asked to take it. He said I needed to go to the nurse for permission. I ended up asking him why he's so strict on it. It turns out, he had a student pass out in class one day at his former school. He tried to wake her up and called the nurse, but she wouldn't wake up. They called 911 and by the time they got there, she had died of an OD on narcotics she's took in the bathroom that she had hidden in a Tylenol bottle. I don't know how he went back to teaching after that. Not sure when you were in school. My kid's school won't even allow a cough drop without doctor note. All kept at the nurse's office. We have pages faxed, still works, for ox, inhalers. Basically anything that you can buy at a Walgreens. My wife has a few. This is only one. During class, one girl was sitting with her hands in her lap shaped like a bowl. Upon further inspection I noticed she was collecting her spit in her hands, said her name, made eye contact, she drinks it and wipes her hands on her shirt. She didn't make a move to ask to wash hands, so I sent her to. The other ones are horrific, depressing, or sadistic. This is viscerally disturbing. A student shot and killed another student on a teacher work day across the street from our high school. Kid threatened to rape a teacher. Or kid that did rape his teacher, killed her, then smuggled her body out of the school bathroom in a wheel bin. Edit. TM medium equals site percent 20 buttons and amp. UTM campaign equals site percent 20 buttons. Saw a very sweet 16-year-old girl I taught for 5 years being strangled by her boyfriend in the hallway at school. I was fuming and he got very aggressive with me, yelling in my face that it was just a joke and I should chill. As a woman, I also felt really intimidated by this teenage boy. I passed it on to the safeguarding team and I'm not sure how they dealt with it, but I know the girl defended him. He got expelled for something else a few weeks later and she told me that they broke up when he was gone. But I still worry about what kinds of relationships she's going to have in the future if she thought his behavior was acceptable. She deserves so much better. When I was a sophomore there was a kid, same age as me, holding his girlfriend up against the lockers by her throat and another boy in our class walked around the corner and beat the tar out of him. None of this was seen by teachers. We all just pretended to not see the vigilante justice and rolled on with our day. The girl broke up with the asshole and never had any more problems with him. 2 boys pushed a girl down a flight of stairs. A girl in my friend's school, who was mentally ill, stabbed another girl's eye out. Like 1 second she was normal, next stab. She also shoved a pen into my friend's arm and took out a bunch of flesh. It was gnarly as fuck and she's got a permanent scar. Saw a 4-year-old purposely push a piece of furniture over onto another 4-year-old at preschool. It actually really hurt the other kid, and her parents took the school to court. Eat a weed nug and claim it was moldy broccoli. What a waste of weed. Mentally handicapped student with ectrodactyly. 3 large fingers on one hand, 2 on another. Tried to finger bang everyone. Said he would hook them. Tried to corner female students and amp attractive female faculty to saw them hump them. By finger bang you mean digitally rape. Bring an air rifle to school in his backpack and get arrested outside my door. Masturbate in class. Bell rang. Thought he was asleep, walked over and there it all was.